Today in Chiang Mai we are following Ekadashi. For the rest of the world, check your calendar. Tomorrow's Varaha Dwadashi, a very special day and has some significance in our Chaitanya Saraswat Math because Koladweep, where the Chaitanya Saraswat Math is located, is presided. The presiding deity, the master of Koladweep, is Varahadev, Lakshmi-varahadev. And there's some special history there. And if you go to the Navadip Chaitanya Saraswat Math, you'll see there's a Shalagram Shila on the altar. And that Shalagram Shila is Lakshmi-varaha. But they came in a very interesting way. When Srila Sridhar Maharaj first established the Chaitanya Saraswat Math, he was worshipping Giriraj, just Giriraj. And he was living in his bamboo hut with a long pole, with a flag on top, and going on with his worship to Giriraj. Then came Mahaprabhu, then Radha Govinda, and I'm not sure at which point in time in history Gurudev said the mandir, the ground floor of the mandir was completed, and around that time the Shalagram Shila came through Jajavar Maharaj. It had been through Jajavar Maharaj's Math and Goswami Maharaj's Math, and this Shalagram Shila was living like a king. Gurudev said he was worshipped like a king in the house of a Brahmana. And then somehow it was passed to Bhakti Shranga Goswami Maharaj, one of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's godbrothers, and then Jajavar Maharaj, and then ended up, it was given to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked Gurudev to identify this Shalagram Shila, because he was skilled in that way, and Gurudev consulted the scriptures. I believe it was the Garuda Purana, which explains how to identify these Shilas, and by the particular markings on this Shila, Gurudev thought this is appearing to be Varahadev. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj wrote to the Brahmana who was worshipping this Shalagram Shila and said that we are thinking this is Varahadev. And the Brahmana confirmed, wrote back saying, yes, this is Lakshmi-varahadev. And so it was, by Rahadev's divine will in the form of this Shalagram Shila, he wanted to come to the Chaitanya Saraswat Math in Koladweep, where he is the master, and to live on the altar with Shri Guru Gauranga, Gandharva Govinda Sundar. So there's some, I've heard some little extra details. I can't confirm 100% if it's true. Sometimes these things are mysterious. But we heard that this Shalagram Shila was causing some disturbance in the Brahmana's house, in Goswami Maharaj's Math, in Jajavar Maharaj's Math. He was, some chaos was ensued by his presence. And maybe that's why he was being passed down and brought to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. You can see what he wants. And it seems as though what Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Gurudev confirms, he wanted to be in his place in Koladweep. And the Brahmana asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj in this letter that if you can ensure that he is worshipped by a born Brahmana, brahmachari. Then he'll be happy. So to this day, our puja is rendered by a Brahmana, brahmachari. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj ordered paramana, sweet rice, will be offered to him daily. So if you ever go to the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, you'll see there's always some sweet rice, prasadam. And that was by design by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that Lakshmi-varahadev get their sweet rice, that they're happy with their Brahmana, brahmachari, pujari, and this way, living happily in the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So that history is there. Gurudev mentioned something about, let me just pull up the quote here. So Srila Guru Maharaj saw Navadvip Dham as the Aparad Bhanjan Pat and Koladvip as the Kshetra, the land of Lakshmi-varahadev. Kola means Varahadev. Srila Guru Maharaj, with his transcendental vision, has seen what is actually here. We consider what is manifesting is in Koladvip, and by devotional service it is becoming revealed gradually. So, Aparad Bhanjan Pat, where all offenses are being forgiven, very merciful part of Navadvip Dham, which is non-different from Vrindavan. Gupta Govardhan. Govardhan is there on the banks of Govindakunda. And Koladvip, Kola, meaning Varahadev. So today is Ekadashi, the 11th day of the moon. Then tomorrow is Dwadashi, Varaha Dwadashi. Then Saturday is Nityananda Trayadashi. Trayadashi is 13. And we've heard, actually I learned from our Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Prapana Tirtha Maharaj, that the 13th day, anyone born on the 13th day will be kind. So the personification is Nityananda Prabhu. And how I learned that by some causeless mercy is Tirtha Maharaj wanted to do my astrology. He wanted to check my chart and found that you were born on Trayadashi. So by some grace, Nityananda's grace, some connection there, we give all glory to him, and all kindness is coming from him, the Kripa avatar. So 13th day, that is on Saturday, a big celebration here at 11, starting at 11. And tomorrow it is our tradition in the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, in remembrance of this paramana offering, the sweet rice offering in Navadvip. We also offer sweet rice to Varahadev on our altars and break our Ekadashi fast with Varahadev's prasadam, paramana prasadam. So Varahadev, just simple remembrance and understanding his pastimes. The Lord appearing in the form of a boar. And we heard some inner detail. Why boar? Because boars have a very keen sense of smell. And Goswami Maharaj would say, you'll see when people are searching for truffles in the forests, this type of mushrooms called truffles, very expensive. They are found by boars. They can sniff out the truffles. So very keen sense of smell. And there's always so many backstories and beautiful details, but it's just the general idea of the pastime is that, the two demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha was the younger brother of Hiranyakashipu. He got a lot of power from Brahma through his austerities, boons, but he just got too carried away. And he just power tripping and threatening the demigods and disturbing the universal order and just getting mad, intoxicated with power. He just grabbed the earth and threw it into the ocean, the Darbhaka ocean. And the earth fell to the bottom of the ocean. Bhudevi. Just, being intoxicated and mad and power tripping out of control. And all the demigods were distressed, and Brahma thinking, what should I do? He's in charge of taking, responsibility for earth and doesn't know, just starting to contemplate what to do in this situation. And as he was thinking what to do, self-manifesting, this tiny little boar coming out of his nostril, and then gradually flying in the sky, and then becoming massive, and then roaring. And the Bhagavatam describes his roar. It's not any ordinary roar. It was the roar was all the Vedic hymns being, the vibration of the Vedic hymns being pierced through the universe, and all the gods and the sages could hear this roar. And Jiva Goswami mentions that, when we think of these avatars like Varahadev, we think they're taking this animal form, but it's not an animalistic form. It's not what we think of animals. It's divine. And there's some description in the Bhagavatam of his beauty. And let's see here, this verse. Before entering the water to rescue the earth. This is Bhagavatam verse. Lord Boar flew into the sky, slashing his tail, his hard hairs quivering. His very glance was luminous, and he scattered the clouds in the sky with his hooves and his glittering white tusks. The Lord, playing like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusks. He assumed a bluish complexion, that of a tamal tree, and thus the sages, headed by Brahma, could understand him to be the Supreme Person and offered respectful obeisances. His body was completely transcendental. His complexion was described like a dark rain cloud, yet effulgent, glowing with spiritual brilliance. Although massive beyond measure, his form was perfectly proportioned and enchanting. Although appearing as a boar, his form was extraordinarily beautiful, charming the minds of all who beheld him. His eyes were reddish and slightly rolling, glowing with compassion and heroic intensity. His white tusks shone brilliantly, and upon one of them rested Bhudevi like a lotus on an elephant's tusk. So he's appearing in the sky, astonishing everybody and roaring and then diving into the ocean. And with his sense of smell, he could locate the earth, smelling the fragrance of the earth and pulling her out on his tusk, and she's holding on his tusk. And it's described like a surrendered devotee being rescued, like, thank you. She's there. And so he emerges from the ocean, and Bhudevi, the earth, is like a lotus on an elephant's tusk, like hanging on the Lord's tusk. Varahadev's nostrils were wide and powerful, and his breathing produced Vedic sound. The Vedas themselves vibrated from his breath. His body was decorated with celestial ornaments, glittering armlets, a shining helmet, his earrings that swayed as he moved. The Kaustuba jewel adorned his chest. His neck bore fresh flower garlands dripping with water from the Garbhodaka ocean. When Varaha roared, all directions trembled. The Gandharvas sang and the sages offered prayers. His roar was compared to the Vedic hymns being chanted simultaneously. His roaring vibration filled the entire universe and appeared to be the sound of the Vedas. Bhudevi, the earth, clung to his tusk. She appeared fearful, yet relieved, like a devotee sheltered by the Lord. The Lord lifted the earth as easily as an elephant lifts a lotus flower. The sages offered prayers of astonishment. They praised his beauty, mercy, and playfulness, and recognized him as Vishnu himself, despite the boar form. So his beauty is terrifying to the demons and enchanting to the devotees. So it's mentioned here one detail that his roar is, he's not, he is the form of the Vedas, so the roar is, the Lord is their form, the Vedas. So Varahadev's not seen as a frightening figure for the devotees, but as worshipped as beautiful and divine and enchanting. So, then the battle ensued. He's rescued the earth. She's hanging on his tusk, and Hiranyaksha is furious. What, you've just undone what I've done? And there was a big, long battle. And that battle ended with Hiranyaksha dying, getting killed, which triggers the next pastime. Hiranyakashipu, his brother, is furious. You killed my brother. And that pastime starting to unfold with Hiranyakashipu's anger. So this day we observe tomorrow. I'm mentioning this today because we're in that spirit, and it's Thursday, and these pastimes are purifying for our hearts and minds, and There are always opportunities to observe for our own purification and glorifying the Lord for His pleasure, for the pleasure of the deities and the devotees. So, yeah, we have some special connection to Varahadev as members of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And Shalagram Shila worship is generally not our thing. It's Vaikuntha worship, super strict Vidhi Marg worship, and very easy to make offense. Not recommended by Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Gurudev in general. Many times Srila Sridhar Maharaj was sending the devotees back to, where does Shalagram Shila live? In Muktinath, somewhere in Nepal. Devotees of the Gandaki River. Is that right? Where? Kalikanda? Oh, the Gandaki River. So just bringing them back, just sending devotees back, because it became like a thing in it, and especially the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So many devotees acquiring Shalagram Shilas, but finding that it's beyond them to worship. And so Govardhan is our merciful deity, who here we started worshiping with Govardhan. Like Srila Sridhar Maharaj began his worship in the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat with Govardhan, going back to our starting point this morning. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, 1942, worshipping Giriraj Govardhan in the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. We also began our worship here. Because Giriraj is merciful, he is Haridas Varja, the best of the Haridases. We hear if we are praying for the wrong thing, he'll fix our prayer and give us what we actually need for our benefit, and excusing offense. And it's not super strict Vidhi Marg worship. It's not Vaikuntha worship. It's Jai. So we're hearing all these things from Guru Gauranga and the Vaishnavas, Srimad Bhagavatam. I was just reading some select verses from Bhagavatam. You'll find, is it third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam? The Varahadev's Lila described. And we will observe that here tomorrow with our Rishikesh Maharaj, Srila Bhakti, Sevan Rishikesh Maharaj, who's on his way to India soon. We only have a few more days with him. And another team, many devotees are going for Navadip Dham Parikrama. And so we'll hear from Maharaj tomorrow all about Varahadev, and then we'll celebrate Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day together on Saturday. And then what day you fly, Maharaj? Which day? 3rd of February. Okay, so we have a few more days together. Rishikesh Maharaj is, we always say, he's the real deal. He's just unbelievable, humble, tolerant, respectful, merciful. And one way I always describe him, and I see him, that he's very strict with himself, very hard on himself, but very merciful to everybody else. He doesn't impose his own standards on everyone else. And he's always trying to help everyone, like very fatherly, very affectionate and loving. And we feel very blessed. He's stayed all these months with us, and we're just going to wait for him to come back. He has service in other parts of the world. And yeah, just wonderful, worshipful acharya of our mission and well-wishing friend of the devotees.